Are we live? Hello. I think we're live. We are on air as far as I'm aware. So I'm going to start. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, that looks all good. It looks like we are streaming, so I'm going to start. Thanks for joining me. Let's have a look. Okay, I think we're okay. Let's see how it goes. So, yeah, this is just like the third episode where I've been streaming things live from my studio, and I'm actually going to upload a video that I did yesterday. I didn't live stream it. I had some connection issues here, which kind of brings me up to this stage where I am now, which is essentially I'm working on my new EP, and I've decided to take the approach of stripping everything out, rearranging my studio, and starting fresh basically. So I've got my modular stuff set up here. I've got some MIDI controllers over here connected to the FH1. I've got some foot pedals and things over there. My mixing desk is over there. A couple more synths and some more outboard. I'll take you around all of that. And what I'm doing, I'm just kind of starting fresh, and I'm kind of building my palette up as I go along. So I'm making bass sounds as I go along. I'm making interesting sounds and a palette of sounds that I can use in my new EP, rather than the approach I've took in the past, which is plan all this stuff out based on what I think is going to sound good. I'm actually just going to make the sounds, then I'm going to start composing with it. So I thought the place to start really would be with bass sounds, and I've got, this is where I got to yesterday basically, which is using the Schweiman VCO6. If I just change this camera, this is the VCO6 up here, which is a great oscillator. I really like it, and the reason I like it, it's got pitch control, octave switching on it. It's got 6 outputs on it. Basically, I go through all this in the previous video, so watch that once I've uploaded it from tomorrow. And I've got to this stage where yesterday I was building up a bass sound. I was also running it through the Plague Bearer, which gave me some distortion. And then I thought about also using this Torcido here and using that for distortion. So that's something that I've gone and done. The Torcido is really cool by Roland. And if I switch over to that, we'll be able to see it, which I believe is on that camera. Sorry, I'm getting used to this as I go along. This is live streaming for you. And the Torcido here is really cool. I've actually gone and built a patch within that to give me stereo distortion. So I've got it here on the iPad, which I shall show you. I think you should be able to see that. And this is basically the patch I've designed, which takes a single input, splits it into 2, delaying one side of it, and that essentially gives me the same signal twice, one of them slightly delayed, which gives me a sort of stereo imaging. I then run them through some distortion, through a compressor, and then I've got a high pass and low pass filter, and then out to the output. So I'm going to patch that in and see what it sounds like with the Schweiman basically, and then I can mix and merge them together. So I can have a really big distorted sound here, or I could just have the Schweiman VCO6 on its own for bass, or combination of the two, whichever. So I'll just put that to one side, and I'm just going to switch, keep it on this view so you can see what we're doing here. I've got a little sequence playing from Ableton, that sequence is going to the Hermod via USB, and then if I open this filter, I should be able to hear that. Hopefully you guys are getting that signal. Just check that for a second. Okay, so what you're hearing is just the VCO6. I've got it running through the Tip-Top VCF here. Reason why I explained in the previous video, so watch that when it's uploaded. And that's the VCF is being controlled using the Quadra, essentially like a low-pass gate. And then that's going into the mix up here on channel 1, just to control it. That's then going through the overseer. So I've got this high pass, low pass available filtering going on it. That then goes into the WMD compressor, which up until now I've been using this compressor with a sidechain input, but what I thought I would do is ram the oscillator VCO6 and the Torcido into it and kind of squidge it together and see how that sounds using really heavy limiting compression. So yeah, let's see how all this sounds. So here's VCO6. Oh, something that I did was quite interesting. Someone on the Facebook group, the Schraman Facebook group, very kindly offered some advice about using the other inputs on the VCO6. And the VCO6 it's got FM inputs, some on linear, some on exponential. Again, I talked about this in previous videos. Check that out. It's got sync inputs. And what I've gone and done is I took one of the oscillator outputs and I've put that into the 4MS clock divider. So it's kind of like audio rate clock signal, if you like, going through that. I'm then taking output 2 and I'm putting that into the pulse width modulation 2 input here. And I found it's given well, have a listen to the difference. So, without it, and with it, just adds that sort of grittiness to it. And of course, I can play with the pulse width. It's already nice and chunky, I really like that. So that's a great little tip, I quite like that. What I can also do is tap out additional outputs of this and generate voicings, chords and things like that. So I'm going to try that a little bit later down the line. Okay, let's get this Torcido plugged in. So I think for this I'm just going to take another output out of the VCO6 and I'm going to plug that into the Wasp filter. The Wasp filter is being open and closed like a low pass gate in the same way, using the same envelope actually as the VCF from Tip-Top. So they're working to the same envelope. And I'm going to take the output of that and I'm going to run that into the Roland. Actually, do you know what? Before we go, yeah, now let's just do that and see how that sounds. So I've got that running. The output of that is going into the Tangle Quartet as a VCA, which again is being controlled by the same envelope. So everything is being controlled by the same envelope. And then the output of that is going to go into here. So into input 3 of the mixer. So this is what the Torcido's like. Oh, nice. I get loads of awesome distortion with this. I've got a low pass and a high pass, which is pretty cool. That's handy. The bass boost changes things. So if I combine that with the original VCO6, nice. So that's cool, but I did say what I'd also do is plug in the 4MS A-Toner as well, and I've just received a new power supply today, so I can get this rack in action here, which is stuff that I don't know if I'm going to use or not, basically. So let's go into the 4MS A-Toner. Let's take that then. Instead of going into the filter first, we'll go into the A-Toner. So I'm just taking that, tapping out a second signal basically into the A-Toner, out of the A-Toner, and then into the Wasp filter. So now what I've got is the A-Toner doing additional distortion before it gets to the Torcido distortion. So it should be like mega distortion. So let's have a listen. That was the VCO6, and this is now Torcido with the 4MS A-Toner. Nice. I thought as much. It kind of breaks it up a bit. Bring the Schweiman VCO6 in. That gives that clarity, that low end. I think that gives me loads of different options there. I've got just the clean VCO6, I've got the 4MS A-Toner running in Torcido, I've got different combinations of levels of them here in the mix-up, I've got them all controlled by the same envelope, but what I can do is, because they're going through different filters, is basically open and close those filters independently and also control the amount of CV input going in from the envelope as well. So I've got loads of control there. And then the Torcedo on its interface, I mean, I can distort stuff really madly. I can do the low boost. I can actually bypass it. I've got the high pass and low pass filter on it as well. So basically there's loads of stuff that I can do with this setup. I'm really liking the sound of what I'm getting from this. This is quite exciting. It's triggering a few things off in my brain about where to go next. So just to make it clear, I'm not actually using the Plague Bearer now in this. I'm actually thinking the Plague Bearer might be cool for kick drums and snares. So I'm going to try those out in some later videos. So come back for that. I do want some sub. I want some constant sub there. I'm big in just low sine wave sub in there as well. And I think the way to do that is I'm just going to use a separate oscillator. Probably this Befacco Even VCO. And just use that basically to just generate sub. It's just got a sine wave output on it. I'm going to use that and sneak that into the mixer as well, and then ram that into the compressor. I actually didn't have the compressor engaged there. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like if I use the compression. I'm using maximum threshold, ramped it all the way up, no attack. Actually, I'll put it into limit mode. Let's see how that sounds if that is engaged. Because what's going to happen is, as I turn up either just the clean